Oh, give me a break! Give me a break! Give me a break!
Okay.
Hello everybody, welcome here to WORC TV. As you can see, I'm still loading the session actually. I've had a little bit of technical issues here, so please bear with me here on WORC TV. As the session loads, you'll see drivers gridding themselves onto the racetrack here, and we'll get over that in a minute here. Welcome here My apology, oh geez. I accidentally had the Streamlab mute in the background. I'm sorry folks, it got a little bit of a late start here. As you can see, our drivers are gridding here today, and looks like we've got a good field. Looks like Sky McGurk is going to be on the pole, and Brian Zinn P2, Sean Giroux P3. Then we're going to have Joe Fierro, Paul Granata, Chris Jones, Henry Klappert, and Gage Korn rounding out a smaller field today. We're at the Nurburgring Grand Prix with no chicane. It's about 3 miles in length, 16 turns, located in Nuremberg, Germany at an altitude of 2,035 feet. Race today, well, it's not going to show, but it'll be an hour long, 65-degree temperature, 66-degree track temp, 8-mile-an-hour wind speeds, partly cloudy skies. So this one should be a fun one to watch. I will be back in a moment here, folks. I have to attend to something real quick here. So you're just going to see these guys pacing. I will be back for the green flag.
Green, green, green.
Alright folks, we're back and the green flag is underway here from Nurburgring. We have a couple cars that returned from last week's event. That would be Sky McGurk, the leader here into turn 1. Paul Granata with a send into turn 1. He's going to miss the corner though. Granata really put it in there. Henry Klappert looks like he almost missed the corner as well, as he's got Chris Jones right behind him here. Pretty strong field of Lambos. Looks like we've got Jones in the Audi, McGurk and the Merc, and Brian Zinn in the BMW. As Paul Granata leads here into turn 3, he's got himself a hot rod, it looks like there, as the 04 has moved himself from 5th to 3rd here on lap number 1. And he's got some pressure from Joe Fierro right behind, and he's got a train of cars behind him all the way back to P8. Paul Granata is going to get moved to the inside, and he's going to get Joe Fierro and Sean Giroux right by him. He's got Henry Klappert to his outside here as they go into a little bit of a heavier braking zone. We'll see what happens here. Looks like Paul's going to back it off, and he's going to get Klappert there as Giroux kind of locks it up a little bit, and Henry Klappert trying to make a move. He's going to the inside of Giroux here, and we've got a good pack of cars going right here early on. Granata's going to get right up to the rear bumper of Klappert right here. We'll see what happens when they cycle through, but Fierro and Giroux start to pull away, and these guys cycle it out here with Klappert leading them, and it looks like Paul Granata's going to get sent by Chris Jones. Gage Korn appears to be on the racetrack here. Oh, Paul Granata gets sent, and he is turned around. We're going to pull up the WORC replay real quick here, see if we can figure out what happened to Paul. Clicked off of him for just a moment, of course, and that's when the action happens. Looks here into the corner. Paul just sends it in way too hard. Gets spun around a little bit. Obviously, he'll be okay, and he'll be able to return here. For the moment, though, coming off the final corner, Sky McGurk is leading here early on, lap number 1. And let me tell you, he's going to have quite a lot of laps that he's going to have to lead here. So he's got Brian Zinn kind of breathing down his neck right now, and I think that's the most important, crucial part of this race, is that McGurk is quick right now, but he's going to have to be consistent. He can't have just like a little short run type of car. He's going to have to be very manageable, I guess, on his tires, his fuel strategy, his everything really. So Obviously, McGurk early on, though, looking to be the favorite here, as Chris Jones has gotten by Henry Klappert. He's moved himself up into 5th, and Granata 7th. Looks like Gage Corn 8th, so they've kind of separated a little bit here, as managing themselves around the track patiently. We'll see what happens with Brian Zinn in that BMW, but for now it's all Sky McGurk here at the front of the pack, as man, Nurburgring GP, I love this track. I think it's an absolutely beautiful track, a great facility, and the GP circuit is top notch. As Chris Jones has spun around, I believe, or he may have a course cutting penalty. He's very slow, has a little bit of front end damage. Here comes Henry Klappert. Klappert trying to make the move around the outside. What a move by Henry Klappert. He's going to get him by and pull away right there. Good move by Klappert, as he's fighting with Brian Zinn and Sky McGurk to try to stay in the championship race here. So at 34, he has to put on some heaters here late in this one, because, well, unfortunately for Klappert, his 2 championship contenders are running 1-2. But of course, it is a 60-minute race. You've got a lot of work to get done here, and that's exactly what these guys are going to be looking for here. Man, winding around this track, I'm looking at the lap times right now, and Brian Zinni's a second back. He seems like he's a little bit faster through the first half of the racetrack, but the second half, McGurk kind of pulls away towards the middle. But later in the run, it looks like Brian Zinn kind of gets him back. So right now, it's just whatever McGurk is doing in the middle of the track is kind of keeping him level in comparison to the rest of the cars on track. As Fiero, Giroux, Klappert. Oh, Klappert gets a little loose there. Tries to arc his corner a little bit better. Chris Jones going to get to his inside here. Jones joined us for our dirt tour. I haven't seen Jones in a little bit here as they go into the braking zone. Jones gets the grass a little bit. What a save by Chris Jones. Fortunately for him, he's going to lose that position to Klappert for the moment. And a little bit further through, oh, Paul Granata around again in, I believe, the same corner. I believe that's the Schumacher S's, if I'm not mistaken. I actually might not be. Either way, though, a little bit of a rough run for Granata. He's still ahead of Gage Corn, though, at the moment. So that 994 trying to wheel his way around here early on. Chris Jones, he's able to stay close to Klappert, but unfortunately nothing doing at the moment here, as Jones with some right side damage. Klappert with a fairly clean car. That's going to benefit him a lot, but Jones got a really good run off the corner here, and we'll see what happens coming into... Oh, this is the Schumacher S's. Oh, and Sean Giroux's around. The 66 Lamborghini goes around. We're going to pull up the WORC replay and see if we can see what happened to him. Right here we see Giroux. He just cooks it hard into the corner, same way Granata did. Oh, he kind of gets a little airborne there, going over the S's. So, meanwhile, back up here, Klappert has moved up himself up in the 4th with Chris Jones up into 5th. Giroux has a little bit of work to do. Gage Corn has gotten by Paul Granata, as Granata, he looked quick early on. He's just struggling to get the track down, and Henry Klappert looks like he's top notch right now. In comparison to these guys kind of in this backfield, I guess, if you will. As this is still the closest battle on track. Right here, you have to pivot this corner really well, try to get yourself a good run. When you run that the Nordschleife circuit, I'm not quite sure I'm pronouncing that correctly, but oh, Klappert gets a little loose, wiggles out of line. Chris Jones gets the position back here, and we'll see what happens. That 844 and the 34, they look like they're very close on speed, and this could be a good battle. As we watch Klappert, he really takes a shallow entry to that corner. Jones got a better arc, and he's pulling away for the moment here. Back up front, though, Brian Zinn. He can still see Sky McGurk's Mercedes at the moment, but unfortunately for Brian Zinn, part of me thinks I may have accidentally called McGurk a McLaren earlier. I hope I didn't. McGurk is definitely in a Mercedes. But yeah, Brian Zinn, he can still see McGurk, and they're still about the same pace away from each other. It's just a matter of, like, how is Zinn going to be able to stay close enough to keep up with Sky McGurk? And honestly, I mean, the way it looks, McGurk is definitely top of the field right now, and that's probably why he qualified top of the charts early on. But Brian Zinn keeping up really well, and Zinn we actually haven't seen drive the BMW yet. He normally ran the Lamborghini in the Sports Car Championship. He came out with a Mercedes for the final race of that one, and he ended up winning it. Unfortunately, he came short in the championship standings. But Brian Zinn now, he's in a BMW. He's switching it up a little bit, and he's working hard to try to get something done here in that 73, which, interestingly enough, has a 23 on it. So back for fourth. Looks like that battle's dissipated a little bit as Henry Klappert kind of has a little bit of a technical issue there. His internet kind of going out, but looks like Chris Jones takes P4 across the line. Henry Klappert P5. And Sean Giroux, he's trying to make up some ground. He was up towards P3 with Joe Fierro. Unfortunately, he had a little bit of an issue there. Gage Corn and Paul Granata rounding out the field here at the moment. As Sky McGirt continues to just put on the laps right here. Man, I can't believe the pace that McGurk has right now. He's honestly putting down some stellar laps. And the fact that Brian Zinn is able to keep so close with him, I mean, I don't know if part of it's the draft. I really don't know how much effect the draft honestly has, but I mean, man, right now McGurk leads, and it's interesting to me we have 4 different manufacturers throughout the top 4. Henry Klappert kind of breaks that chain because, well, there's only 4 manufacturers in the race, but um, interestingly enough, most people are in the Lambo, and it's a Mercedes and a BMW leading this thing. Let's see here, we got 1 Lambo, 2 Lambos, 3, I believe we have 4, yeah. Half the field is Lambos, and Paul Granata went a lap down. He may have had to come to pit road to get some repairs after spinning it a couple times, but Granata just seems really loose and a little out of control right now as he looks like he's really having to fight that car. And I'm not sure how much practice Granata has on the track, but I know him and Klappert are the 2 admins for race control tonight, and well, Klappert seems like he's getting a little bit of a better deal here as he's really driving that thing pretty good. I mean, he's got himself up into the top 5, so he's not doing too bad. Meanwhile, Brian Zinn, he's actually gained about half a second on Sky McGurk. So that'll be interesting to watch here as there's about 49 minutes left in this race. So we still have quite a bit of time, and if Brian Zinn is faster in the long run, then that'll be very crucial to see how that plays out with strategy and things. Brian Zinn, of course, I mentioned, hey, he gained about half a second. Well, he lost it. He's actually lost a little bit more than half a second here. He was down to close to 9/10. And unfortunately, I guess it just kind of is what it is. But Brian Zinn, hopefully he can gain some time back. He's back to 2 seconds now. That is absolutely insane. So man, I can't really believe that McGurk is putting this pace down. At Daytona, he didn't honestly seem like he had this type of pace. Of course, it might just be that he has a really good Nurburgring setup, but at Daytona, he was in a battle with 34 of Klappert for quite a while until Klappert wrecked it. And honestly, I'm not 100% sure that McGurk was even going to run the whole season. He's a newcomer to WORC, and He's already ran a few races with us. He ran last week's sports car series race. I'm trying to think if he ran last week at Homestead. I'm not 100% sure if he did, but Sky McGurk doing a really good job right there in that Mercedes. He was in the Mercedes last week, so he might be one of those guys who just rolls with a single manufacturer all season. Unlike Brian Zinn here, Zinn says, "Give me all the cars, man. I'm gonna run whatever I can." And there's not like a rule here in WORC that limits you, so it's obviously Brian's choice to try out different manufacturers, see what he's comfortable with, and I mean he has 4 races to do it. And next week is Okayama, so that should be a fun race because Okayama being a free track, we should have a pretty good car count. And man, I mean Okayama is probably one of my favorite road courses too. There's some solid road courses on the schedule. I guess I'm a little bit biased because I helped make the schedule, but I definitely agree that this series has some good road courses. Of course, the season ends at Long Beach, which is always a fun road course to drive. And right now, though, I'm really enjoying watching the Nurburgring here as things have kind of separated out a little bit. Everyone is pretty decently gapped from each other. And Paul Granata's put it in the pits. Looks like he's getting some service there. Not sure if he's trying a strategy call, trying to put fuel in it and short pit it, see if he can make it to the end or not. But we'll figure that one out here soon. As I hear Paul, he's grinding some gears there, it sounds like, on pit road. And Henry Klappert, he lost P5 to Giroux. I think Klappert may have spun. Not 100% positive. He may have just gotten a little loose and almost lost it because it doesn't show he got an X for that. So fortunately for the 34, he'll lose that position to Giroux. And he's kind of got Gage Korn gaining some ground on him here. And that Audi of Korn, he pit started it. He wasn't quite near these guys on the start. Oh, he's way off the racetrack there, but he's gaining some ground on Klappert. And Klappert really doesn't have much damage on that thing, so I think if he can just keep it clean, we might be able to see what goes on here. But he actually just gained about half a second on Sean Giroux, and this could be interesting. If Klappert catches Giroux and Korn catches Klappert, this could be a good 3-car battle here for a top 5. And man, look at this. Winding through these corners here, Klappert has gained about a second of time to Giroux, which is weird because Giroux had such good pace early on. Back here, Korn's about 2.8 seconds behind Klappert. He actually just gained about half a second there. And Klappert just gained about half a second on Giroux. So Henry Klappert's really able to navigate himself around this road course a little bit better than Giroux. And Korn, he's slowly getting there. He's not gaining quite as much time as Klappert is, but he himself is gaining. So I am very excited to see what happens here. And obviously this is going to probably pan out to be a good battle as Klappert has closed a lot of time on Sean Giroux here. Hey, look at Henry Klappert as they go into the braking zone here. A little left-hander. Sean Giroux's going to get loose. Klappert brakes. What a save by Giroux and what a wreck avoidance by Henry Klappert. Klappert, he's going to lose some time to Korn there, but a great job by him and a great job by Giroux to keep it out of trouble there. We're going to pull up the WORC replay and take one more look at that. And we're actually going to go to the cockpit view of Henry Klappert. We're going to call that one the Henry Cam, as we'll see right here. Give us a moment. So, here's the cockpit view of Henry Klappert. He sees Giroux get a little sideways, checks it up a little bit, downshifts, and he's off again. Great wreck avoidance by Henry Klappert as right now we have a good little train here for P5. Unfortunately, with Klappert having to check up like that, Gage Korn caught a lot. And now Korn is in Klappert's draft. He's going to try a send here into turn 1. Klappert takes it wide. Korn's going to take it in there deeper. Look at Henry Klappert. If he can get this around the corner, and he will. Klappert's going to get the run. Korn dives it down. Klappert takes the apex a little bit better there. Gets on the curb. He's going to come up the racetrack, and Henry Klappert will clear Gage Korn as the battle for P5 is certainly on. And Klappert gets loose. Gets a little out of shape. He gets it back together, though. Good save. He's loose again. And Gage Korn, he's going to apex this corner really well. He's going to get a huge run. Here comes the 994. He's going to go through the grass a little bit. down into this straightaway here. Heavy braking zone. Klappert's going to succeed the position to Korn for the moment here. We'll see if he's able to get Korn back, as it looks like these guys are actually quite evenly matched throughout the early portion of this racetrack here. And man, I want to see if Klappert can get back to gauge Korn here. Only 4/10, and Sean Giroux is losing quite a bit of time to these guys, as these guys just seem like they're on a different pace right here. And they're kind of staying consistent right now. Looks like Giroux, he's lost about 2 seconds here. So it's down to Klappert versus Korn, and it looks like Korn is beginning to pull away a little bit there in that Audi, as Klappert winds himself around, makes the right-hander. And man, right now, Gage Korn, he's going to pull away here about 1.5 seconds over Klappert. And if Klappert has his draft, this is when he's going to need to make up time, because he seemed faster those first few corners. Just lost it to Korn there, and if he's going to put up a battle here to try to hold on to a top 5, he's going to need to get back to Korn quickly. And he goes through turn 1 and he overcooks it, so I'm going to say Klappert, he's probably not going to get back to Korn there. Back through the field. Joe Fierro is around. Maybe he just goes off into the dirt. I don't believe Chris Jones is going to catch him there. I believe Fierro had a big enough gap that he's fine with that small mistake. But, man, that 16, little bit of a pucker moment there. And interestingly enough, the 16 is 31 seconds back off of Brian Zinn, who was at 1.4 seconds back on Sky McGurk. He has closed the gap to about 2 seconds. That's going to be one to watch. And back here, Henry Klappert has spun. He's going to get passed by Sean Giroux. And we're going to pull up the WORC replay here and see what happened. Every time I click off of somebody, there's somebody who's spinning here. Looks like he just cooks it a little too hard, takes a slide. Oh, he keeps it straight, though. I got to give him props. I don't even know if he actually touched grass there with that right rear. So this might be a battle right here, Giroux and Klappert. As that one seems like Klappert seemed a little bit faster than Giroux, so this one could be brewing. As right now that 66 trying to hold on here, as they've each lost quite a bit of time to Gage Korn, who's absolutely just pulled away. It makes you wonder if Korn didn't pit start, how would he be? So man, I'm looking at this one here. Giroux through the S's right there. Klappert trying to breathe down his neck there as they go around the final corner here. Giroux runs it wider, it looks like. Klappert kind of kept it on the racing line, and I'm not sure how that's helping each driver. It looks like Klappert may have gotten a little bit of a better exit there, to be honest. And Klappert with such a run on Giroux, he's going to back it off into turn 1. And they're going to try to pivot it into turn 1. Giroux runs it wider than Klappert. He's going to get a better run. Klappert takes it to the inside. He kind of pivots it in there shallow. He's going to run it wide here. He's going to lose the time to Giroux for the moment, as they make the left-hander. And Klappert trying his hardest to get there. Giroux gets a little too much of the curb. He's going to lose some time there to Henry Klappert, as they make the left-hander here. Man, Klappert, what a move. Gets by Giroux, gets in the sand a little bit. They're going to be side by side here. Klappert's going to clear him, though. They go through the left-hander, and Klappert gets the position back on Giroux. And Giroux trying to fight back here for the moment. Doesn't look like his fight back is going to work, though, as Klappert kind of overcooks that corner. Maybe not. That's the corner that Giroux seems to be having trouble in, though. He spun there twice. I don't know if it's just the way he gets the curbs upsets the car or what, but he certainly seems to struggle in those corners as Klappert winds his way around the right-hander here. Man, I'm just sitting here watching Brian Zinn. He's closed about half a second here. Rolling P2. It's interesting because Zinn, he gains time, but then he seems to lose it. But he doesn't seem to lose more than 3 seconds to Sky McGurk. He's able to stay relatively close. And looking back here, Chris Jones, he's actually gained time on Joe Fierro. Fierro running P3. Chris Jones kind of marching his way forward there. He's closed it to about 5.8 seconds. It was back to like 8 or 9 actually. Actually, I believe at one point it was up to 11. So I believe Chris Jones is faster than Fierro, and he may be looking for a podium here. And Brian Zinn has gained a second on Sky McGurk. That's actually more than a second. It went from 2.7 to 1.2. Zinn is able to really hit those curbs there through the S's, and he is gaining pretty rapidly on McGurk here. We'll see what happens through the last corner. It looks like he was a little bit slower rolling that corner, but McGurk, I don't know if he messed up or if Zinn just found some speed suddenly, but I don't believe Zinn's going to have the draft here, so we'll see what happens going into turn 1. McGurk seems to get through turn 1 a little differently. McGurk kind of holds to the right side. Zinn kind of exits high and then pivots back down. He's going to get the grass a little bit. But it seems like he's still gaining time, so ultimately whatever lines he's running are a little bit better than McGurk's. McGurk's car just seems like it turns a little bit better. It's got a little more freeness to it, whereas Zinn, he looks kind of tight. So that's interesting to take note of here. Looks like there's a little bit of understeer in that 73, whereas Sky McGurk's car seems like it's turning really well here. And ultimately, though, Zinn is almost getting to the point where he's in McGurk's draft, and there are quite a few straightaways here where Zinn could utilize that draft. And right here, I noticed Zinn, he brakes a little bit later for this corner right here, and he's there. Oh, McGurk blinks out for a moment. A little bit of a network issue, and Chris Jones is off the racetrack. Chris Jones, I'm not too positive what may have happened to him, but he's going to lose some position here. Gage Korn has gotten by him. He may have wrecked it, honestly. I don't know. He was fast, though. He was gaining on Joe Fierro quite a bit. And, man, that's tough. Chris Jones going to lose all those positions. He might finish P7 here because Paul Granata has pulled it into pit road. He supposedly flipped, so, you know, I can't blame him for that. Right here, though, it seems like this latter half of the racetrack, Zinn just gains time rapidly, actually. He runs the corner wider there on exit than McGurk did before, and And we'll see what happens here. Zen is able to close time. He just can't close enough on McGurk. Going into turn 1, looks like McGurk, he breaks a little bit earlier than Zen. Watch the way he takes this corner. He actually runs it a little bit wider than he did last time, but Zen just takes it so much wider, and I can't really tell if it's helping or hurting him there. He got the grass last time around going in through turn 1 though, so that probably slowed Zen down a bit, but I'm just watching McGurk. He just gets through the corners so freely. He's able to just kind of lift through those S's. He doesn't really have to brake too much. Whereas I'm noticing Zen, middle of the corner, he seems like he's tight, kind of understeering it. He has to get on the brakes, middle of the corner, try to get that thing to turn. Make sure he sets it up for the exit of the corner, and that seems like that's the big thing there. And man, right there, still a seconds gap here between McGurk and Zen. As everyone else separated pretty far away. Closest battle, there's Henry Klappert. And coming around that corner is Sean Giroux. So other than that, right now it's up to these two up here to give us some entertainment as we are close to halfway. Next time by we'll be halfway through this race as we're at 31 minutes remaining. So man, that is that is entertaining. I'm liking to seeing what Brian Zinn can do, what he does differently than McGurk is coming around this time where you've got about 30 minutes, 50 seconds left on the clock. And Gage Korn has come down pit road. Korn comes down to get serviced. He's trying to split this thing half and half. So he's going to lose time for the moment here, but I honestly don't think it's going to impact him too much because the way Giroux and Klappert are going to have to pit, I believe, well, Korn was kind of faster than Fierro. So it's a matter of what happens here, but Korn had such a huge gap on Klappert and Giroux that I really don't think he's going to lose that much time. It's a matter of what happens when Klappert pits here from P4 and Giroux from P5 to see how much time is Gage Korn really going to lose here. And honestly, it also depends on Joe Fierro as well, because Korn, if he played his strategy right, he could finish P3 here if he can gain enough time on Fierro. Obviously, in this situation, you don't take tires really. You just come in, pit for fuel, make sure you can make it to the end. And I believe these guys at Daytona, they made it about 42 minutes before they seemed to have to pit. I don't know if they stretched it out enough, but I believe that's when Parker White pit. He was the guy who won Daytona last week, and ultimately, Gage Korn has gone a lap down to Sky McGurk and Brian Zinn, as these two still kind of going at it. Zinn keeping himself about a second. It's between 9/10 to like 1.2 seconds off of each other. So obviously it is what it is. And we'll see. Man, look at Brian Zinn. He has closed so much time to Sky McGurk. As I wonder if Zinn, he had a setup that's set up a little bit better for the nighttime. Maybe with the night sky starting to fall, the grip levels are just coming to Zinn. He runs that corner a little too wide. He'll lose some time. He can't really arc his next curb in there, but can't really hit the apex, I guess. Looking back through the field, Joe Fierro is going to come down pit road as we're just a little past halfway. Fierro's going to wrap his way through. We'll see what the 34 does. He was... Oh, he's going to spin it out. He'll get it back going, and here comes Sean Giroux to take the position away from Klappert. And Klappert's going to have to get all that time back in. Right there are the leaders. Oh, this is going to shape up to be interesting because Klappert is a little bit faster than Giroux. He just lost it right there. And he's just going to lose that time, and now he might be facing going a lap down. And how is this going to impact the battle for the lead? Because McGurk and Zinn are bumper to bumper pretty much. Zinn is hoping he can use that lap car as a pick as McGurk tries to go around the outside. He's going to get the curb a little bit, and here comes Brian Zinn. They're going to be side by side for the lead here, and Henry Klappert, oh boy, he's trying to run. He's like, I don't know if I want to be in this position. Brian Zinn, he's going to clear Sky McGurk as McGurk backs down. Klappert has to brake a lot for the S's, something Zinn wasn't really anticipating. Zinn flashes Klappert. Klappert pulls into pit road. Here comes McGurk to the inside. McGurk gets a little too much of the curb. And Brian Zinn, he's going to get a little loose off exit, but he's going to save it. And we have a new leader here halfway through the race. Brian Zinn is going to take it. We'll see if Sky McGurk puts a fight back or if he's going to just pull back for now. And up front, looks like we have Sean Giroux and Joe Fierro, as Joe Fierro has come out of pit road right behind Giroux, and honestly, that's not good news for Giroux because he probably won't really gain much time to Fierro. But the leaders are coming here, and obviously some of these guys are just simply a lap down because they pit, but the pace of Zinn and McGurk is absolutely insane, as these guys are very equal to each other, and they are just putting a beat down on the field right now. As they go into the left-hander here, Joe Fierro pulls off, says, I'll be nice, give you guys the lane. And we'll see what Sean Giroux does up here. He's had some issues with a couple corners up here, so man, we'll see what happens. As McGurk, look at that left front brake. Just glowing red right there, as he's got some heat on those things for sure. Yeah, if these guys can only go about 42 minutes, then there's only about 2-3 laps before they're probably going to pit. So I'm really anticipating seeing when that happens and how it happens, as McGurk doesn't really get the curb right there. Oh man, he's going to lose quite a bit of time. He didn't hook the left curb, the entry curb, like he wanted to, and ultimately he plowed it a little tight. Now he's got to wind his way around here, make the right-hander, and see what he can come up with. Man, McGurk, he's just lost so much pace now. I believe Brian Zinn, he seemed like he was faster as the night sky started to fall. It just got grippier, and ultimately that really paid off to his setup here because he is pulled away, and Sky McGurk now, he's searching a little bit. He's exiting turn one a little bit wider. He's trying to figure out what line he can go to. Taking a look through here, Fierro has pit, Gage Korn has pit, and Henry Klappert has also pit here. Looks like Klappert and Fierro may have taken tires because they had about 45-second pit stops. Whereas Gage Korn only had a 27-second pit stop. So Gage Korn, he's about 2 seconds back on Fierro, and that might be where he gains time. We'll see how the tire wear really affects these guys. And that'll be a question between McGurk and Zinn. Do one of these guys take tires, or do they just take fuel? I believe Zinn, he's kind of a veteran of WORC right here. He definitely probably only wants to take fuel, I'd imagine, as McGurk gets a little wide. And man, McGurk, he's just losing time. Zinn gets the curb a little furiously there, but I think he'll be fine. Zinn and McGurk doing a great job, though, keeping this one pretty close, pretty entertaining. And pit cycles are coming around. There's about 5 minutes left till we hit that 42-minute mark through the race, and that's what I'm looking for. Man, I'm taking a look here at McGurk, and he just seems tighter for some reason. I'm not quite 100% sure if that's honestly the case, but he just seems like he's got a lot of understeer in that thing suddenly, and unfortunately, I don't know if it's going to be enough for him to overcome to try to get back to Brian Zinn, as that BMW of Zinn's just looks hooked up right now. I'm taking a look here. Paul Granata still on pit road. Henry Klappert is quite a bit back on Joe Fierro, who has just gotten passed by Gage Korn, so the decision to take tires may not have been smart for Fierro or Klappert, as Korn is actually catching Sean Giroux, who has yet to pit, and I believe the longer Giroux stays out, he might be screwing himself because he's going to lose position to Korn, Fierro, and possibly even Henry Klappert. And honestly, Giroux, he might just lose time to Korn and Fierro based on them passing him here, because he just seems like he's struggling right now in that 66. He's just not quite up to par, as we see them wind through the left-hander right there. Giroux, McGurk, nor Zinn have pit yet in this race. And like I said, that 42-minute mark is what we're watching here. Is look at the run that Gage Korn has. He's trying to put himself up into a podium position here. Battle for P3 is on. Korn's going to go to the left side. Korn's going to send it in a little bit deeper. He's going to get through those S's really well. I guess it's more of a chicane, honestly. I'm not 100% positive what the proper way to call it is, but Giroux easily gets past there, and here comes Joe Fierro's Lamborghini as he's going to make the right-hander onto the front straightaway, and we're going to see some battling going on here. I'm just sitting here watching, and Henry Klappert, he's quite a bit back on Fierro and Giroux, but he is gaining time. Unfortunately, I think he's so far back that he probably won't catch Fierro before this race ends here in the next 20 minutes, but he's probably going to be able to get to Giroux. Fierro's about 2 seconds back on Giroux, and Giroux, as I mentioned, still has to pit. Neither McGurk or Zinn have pit yet, as they're still pretty close together. And man, McGurk winding his way around, making the right-hander. And now through the left-hander. Oh, McGurk. He gets a little off in the grass there. Couldn't quite make it happen. Yeah, McGurk, he loses about 3/10 there, as I'm waiting to see. We're at the 19-minute mark. So this will show, obviously, I mean, at Daytona, track lengths are different. So we'll be able to see how long these guys can go, and it looks like Brian Zinn is saying, hey, I can go another lap. And Sky McGurk is doing the same thing. And honestly, if I was Sky, I'd short pit it on Zinn if I could. I mean, I'm 3 seconds back now, but I know I have a fast car, and I know I'm capable of being with Zinn. So honestly, I would come to pit road this time by and hope Zinn doesn't, because if Zinn short pits it, I think it's over for McGurk. I just feel like Zinn's going to gain so much time. I feel like short pitting is the right strategy here. Oh, Zinn is actually going to get the grass a little bit there. Puts the left sides down there. And it is decently dark here in this GP circuit, but I mean, I don't know. I feel like after 40 laps on this track, you kind of know the layout. As Fierro has still not caught Giroux yet. They're about the same pace, it seems. And Klappert's way back here, so he's just trying to stay on the same lap as Giroux and Fierro. But I mean, the battle for a top 5 is still kind of on, because I mean, if Giroux pits, or when Giroux pits, I should say, then Fierro's going to get by him, and then Henry Klappert has a chance to catch Giroux, because Giroux will be back closer to his pace. So that's what I'm interested to see, as Zinn through the left-hander, now through the right-hander. We'll see what happens here, if Zinn pits this time or not, as there's about 17 minutes left. We're at that 42-minute mark. So we'll see if Zinn pits here or if he stays it out on this lap. I think if Zinn stays it out though, McGurk has to pit. I mean, he's got a big enough gap he can definitely tell if Zinn pits, but then again, if Zinn pits, do you stay out? Do you try to execute? We'll find out here. McGurk and Zinn both stayed out another lap. Sean Giroux, we're going to look back here. He's a little bit further back, and he's getting winded in by Fierro. Makes the left, makes the right, and Giroux stays it out too. So these guys definitely trying to run the tanks dry here. Honestly, I'm not really sure how it's going to work for Giroux, but he's gotten ran down by Fierro here in the past few laps, and I wonder if that's because Fierro has those fresher tires, so they might start finally kicking in here. Down into turn one, Fierro is going to brake a lot less than Giroux, it seems. He kind of got tight there, had a little bit of understeer, and we'll see if Fierro gets back to Giroux here. Man, Fierro, he seems faster. He just kind of, I don't know if he's not braking enough for the corners or just not braking early enough, but he definitely looks like he's pretty tight as well. But look here, he's just brakes so much later than Giroux that I think as long as he just winds his way around the corner close enough to the apex, the way he's braking so much later, he might be able to put a send on Sean Giroux, dive it in there, and we'll see what the dive bomb does. I mean, there's quite a few corners where he can dive bomb. There's quite a few S's, little chicanes, things like that. So lots of windy corners here as through the Schumacher S's. I believe it's Schumacher S. I'm trying to remember which corners the Schumacher S's. I think I'm figuring it out, but I'm not 100%. I'm trying to learn the Nurburgring terminology because next weekend is the Nurburgring 24 Hours of Daytona, which I will be participating in as a driver. I've got a 5-person team. I've got hopefully a good enough team to carry me. I'm not the fastest driver here, but Sean Giroux goes wide. Fierro's going to get around him here, and back up front, Sky McGurk and Brian Zinn, they also stayed out here, so obviously we will see how much fuel is needed here, but man, McGurk, he gains some time, but he definitely just doesn't seem like he's on par with Brian Zinn. And Joe Fierro, he officially got by Giroux. And Henry Klappert, he's going to have to try to gain some time here in the nighttime. He's really slowed down his pace. He was faster than Giroux by quite a bit. Seems now they're about equal, or he might be even a little bit slower than Giroux. So he's really going to have to make sure that when Giroux pits, he doesn't make any mistakes and he can gain some time, because that 34, he needs as many points as he can get if McGurk and Zinn are 1-2 here, because those guys are the key factors here in fighting for this GT3 championship. And you know what? Honestly, I think I would take Zinn here at the moment. The way he just seems like he's a little bit faster than McGurk. I feel like he's the guy who's up front in the championship standings at the end of the season so far. Right now it appears it's coming down to Zinn, McGurk, and Klappert, as those are the guys who are going to have the best amount of points, I guess, the best chances. But of course, a guy like Parker White, who won last week, he has a chance still, and pretty much anybody who's made a start here in the first 2 races still honestly really does have a chance. I mean, it's only a 4-race sprint season, so you can't lose too many points, but Right here, we'll see when these guys decide to pit. As I'm looking back here, seeing when Sean Giroux pits. Because I want to see if Henry Klappert can nab the top 5 when Giroux pits. Honestly, I think the biggest mistake that these guys could make is running out more. Oh, Sky McGurk is around! That's huge. And he's going to lose a ton of time. He's got damage now. We'll check it out on the replay. A big mistake by McGurk. He's going to lose tons of time to Zinn in what was a close race throughout the entirety of this thing. May not be so close anymore. He just kind of ran it wide, got in the sand trap and spun it around. Knocked the left front into the wall. Luckily it was a fast spin, so he doesn't lose too much time, but ultimately he lost probably about 7 seconds there. And Brian's in now. He has a very comfortable lead. He can back off his pace a little bit, try not to make any mistakes. And yeah, man, this one might be his. I wouldn't count out Sean Giroux yet. Part of me is starting to wonder with about 10 minutes left, when are these guys going to have to pit? Brian Zinn still stays out. McGurk stays out, but everyone else is pit besides those 3. So, I mean, I'm kind of wondering here. Look at McGurk. He's got, a little bit of left rear wing damage, it appears, as he kind of propped it up a little bit. I don't see too much front end damage there, so we'll see. But Gage Korn is coming around, and he might be able to unlap himself on McGurk, and Korn has great pace. If he didn't pit start, I wonder if he would be competing with the leaders right now, because that 994 looks pretty fast. Back to Sean Giroux, seeing when he pits. Not yet. He's caught Joe Fierro back, reeled him in. Man, I'm wondering what will happen here. Because if Giroux catches Fierro, obviously he'll be able to get by him, but man, he's lost some time since I started watching him. I should probably stop watching. I put the commentaries jinx on quite a bit of these drivers here, man. I'm telling you. And McGurk and Zinn, well, as separated as these guys are, I honestly don't think McGurk has the pace to get back to Zinn. Just don't think it's going to happen, unfortunately. Zinn just seems like they were so equal, and now when you lose that much time, you have to gain 10 seconds, and with about 10 minutes left in this race, I don't see it happening. As there's Henry Klappert, he's about to go a lap down here. He seems like he's struggling a little bit here in the night. I'm not sure if it's the visibility issues or what, but man, if Sean Giroux doesn't have to pit, he's very well in close enough distance to get to Joe Fierro here in the 16. I don't think any of these guys are going to get to Gage Korn, though, because Korn is reeling down McGurk. Unfortunately, it's not actually for position because Korn pit, whereas McGurk didn't. So Korn's trying to get his lap back on McGurk, but I mean, with 10 minutes left, if Korn can get by McGurk, McGurk stays out a lap or 2, Korn can gain enough time. There's a possibility he could end up being in the battle for P2. Korn just has to make quick time. Whereas McGurk, I mean, I don't know if he's going to have to repair damage on pit road necessarily. I mean, obviously his car seems like it's driving fine. The damage is probably halting him a little bit, but he should still have a very valid chance here late in this one. And McGurk and Zinn, they still stayed out there. 7 minutes left in this one, and Henry Klappert's about to go a lap down here to Zinn. And look here, Klappert, he's going to just run it wide and give Zinn the position here. He's not trying to interfere with that one. And honestly, oh, Klappert's a little loose there. Klappert just seems like he's struggling with the car getting loose in the night, which is weird because as grippy as this tread gets, it's supposed to get tighter, honestly. It's supposed to just feel better. So, man, Klappert, he slides again right there. And it's definitely dark here now in Nurburgring, Germany at this world famous circuit. And fortunately for Gage Korn, he lost quite a bit of time to Sky McGurk, so he might not even get his lap back on McGurk. And I'm wondering here if they can stretch it to the end. As Sean Giroux, he's on the same strategy as these leaders, so I mean if they run out, they run out, but man, I wonder how long they're gonna hold on here. As Zen winding his way around, man. McGurk, he did have a good day though. I mean, you lead all those laps early on. Things were looking up for him. It's just one small driver mistake and he loses it. But, I mean, and the unfortunate part for McGurk is he kind of needed to finish ahead of Brian Zinn to gain points on him because Zinn honestly really had a good race at Daytona. I believe Zinn made it towards the podium. I don't know if Zinn did finish on the podium. He may have finished 4th, but I know Zinn was quite quick, and obviously here he's looking to be the early GT3 contender. As McGurk, he's still got Gage Korn's headlights in his rearview mirror, and we'll see how this one goes. Look at Alma next week. These guys, if they don't like this night sky, well, they don't have to worry because next week will be a bright and early one, a race starting in the morning. So race will actually start in the sunrise. So it'll go night to day instead of day to night like the past couple races have. And then Long Beach should be a afternoon finale. So try to give these guys a little bit of a mix of day and night, of course, because track changes and stuff makes things a little bit more interesting. And we saw it there. I mean, Brian Zinn, he gained so much speed rolling around this track here. I don't think these guys are going to have to pit. Either they saved enough fuel or something because I don't know. I don't know if the other guys, I mean, some of these guys pit, some of them didn't, so I don't know what the fuel calculation was, but the fact that Zinn and McGurk were able to just stay it out and Sean Giroux as well, I mean, obviously the strategies were quite different though, and part of me wonders, man, if Gage Korn didn't pit start, where would he be? Because that 994, he's actually, last time around was faster than Brian Zinn. So Korn making good time, honestly. He's definitely a contender here. If he starts showing up more, he might be able to nab a win. As Zinn wraps around and 3 minutes left. Oh, Henry Klappert is going to spin towards the inside wall. McGurk is not going to catch him yet. There they are, McGurk and Korn. And Henry, he's just trying to finish this race and make sure he's P3 in points. As he's had a rough one once that nighttime hit. Like I said, I'm not sure if it's a visibility issue or what, but man, he has really struggled. Muscle memory must not have really kicked in for that 34, so. McGurk, he's just trying to make his way around. And if these guys don't have to pit, man, that was some great strategy by Zinn and McGurk. And Sean Giroux has gotten by Joe Fierro. Fierro must have had a problem because he lost some time. And obviously this is a good strategy by Giroux too, because if he pit, Giroux might have fallen out of the top 5. Giroux might have even fallen back to 6th because Klappert was definitely in position to take that take the position away from Giroux if he stayed out there. So Brian's in, making his way around the track here. White flag, I believe, should wave this time. According to ATVO, it'll wave this time. So we'll see here if Brian Zinn can make it all the way, or if he runs out last lap, then I'm not honestly 100% sure what would happen because there's only 2 cars on the lead lap, and Gage Corn, the first guy who pit, I don't know if he would be able to take the lead or what, but yeah, nobody pits, so Brian Zinn trying to stay it out. He actually is backing off his pace quite a bit. Sky McGurk has gained 2 seconds. And I'm not sure if, what they're doing there. Is Gage Corn flashing Henry Klappert? Oh no, Henry Klappert is blinking out. Right in front of Gage Corn. So, Brian Zinn leads here. He seems like he's backed off his pace quite a bit. McGurk has gained 3 seconds, and I'm not sure if Zinn is having a save to make it to the end. As he winds his way around. Yeah, it was a pretty good battle early on between Zinn and McGurk. Unfortunately, with about 15-20 minutes left in this race, McGurk just made a costly mistake, had a little self-spin, and that'll do it, especially at a road course. I mean, you have more time to gain, but you also have more time to lose at that. And Brian Zinn, he's done an excellent job here, leading us into the final lap. And, man, the strategy by McGurk and Zinn and Giroux to stay out, stretch it on fuel was very impressive because it definitely came close here. And Gage Corn had pit twice, and he's up into P3. So, obviously, a solid job done by him. And Zinn McGurk and Henry Klappert are the early favorites here for a championship, as Zinn lost about 4 seconds there this last lap to McGurk. I'm not sure if he's just saving or what, but he's definitely backed off his pace quite a bit, and I don't know if McGurk was saving and is now pushing it or what, but I don't think it'll be enough. I think Brian Zinn will make it on fuel. As he wraps his way around, goes through the short little chicane here. The S's? Who knows? Coming through the final corner, he'll make the right-hander, and Brian Zinn is going to win it here. He lost quite a bit of time to Sky McGurk there, as I'm not sure what their fuel strategy was, but McGurk will wrap around just 5 seconds behind. He closed about half the gap there late in the race, and Brian Zinn's going to come home the winner here at Nurburgring. A good rebound race. He spun early on at Daytona, and I don't think Brian can even make it around the track, so that came close on fuel. But Brian Zinn is the winner today. Sean Giroux, good strategy. He stays it out. And folks, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here on WORC TV with post-race interviews.
The field is rolling on the back straightaway.
Get ready, this is going to be tight. Out of turn 4, ladies and gentlemen. The All-American 400 is underway.
Got to be careful. The bumps here can get you every time. Entering the corner, exiting the corner.
Welcome back, everybody, to WORC TV. Unfortunately, ATVO has crashed while I was trying to get the camera set up for the interviews. So unfortunately, there's not going to really be an interview graphic at the bottom. Of course, I can still do interviews here, so we're going to try to make do with it here. Looks like we've got the top two in the waiting room. We're going to bring in our race winner, Brian Zinn. Brian, you're in the WORC TV booth. You have a copy, bud.
Yep, I'm here.
Well, congratulations, Brian. Early on, you held some decent pace with Sky McGurk, and about midway through, once the night sky started to fall, seemed like it paid off in your favor because you were able to get by Sky, and he made a mistake about, I don't know, 10 laps later, and ultimately you were able to pull away for the win here. Do you think consistency, keeping yourself about a second near Sky pretty much at all times, do you think that consistency is really what paid off here today?
Yeah, I think that had a factor in it, and between that and kind of doing some fuel mileage gamesmanship at the beginning, I kind of ran a lower fuel map to conserve fuel so that way I could make it all the way to the end. Then about 15-20 minutes in, I figured I had enough, and I turned the wick up a little bit.
Yeah, gotcha. I honestly didn't really think about the field mapping. There was definitely some field strategy through the field. Some guys pit, some guys didn't. Ultimately, you and Sky, your guys' strategies really paid off there. Um, Able to save enough fuel, make it to the end. Well, Brian, this win makes you the points leader here, and obviously with it being a shorter season, you haven't really made a big mistake yet. You had a decent finish at Daytona. You come out here with a win at Nurburgring. What are you looking forward to next week at Okayama?
It's going to be more of the same. It's not a strong track of mine like Long Beach is, so I'm going to try and maximize points and put myself in a position to really attack. And hopefully by the end of Long Beach and the end of the season, I'm sitting on top. So kind of got some unfinished business from last season. Came within 5 points of beating David. So I'm looking to kind of finish on the top step instead of bridesmaid this time around.
Well, you have some competition here. Looks like Sky McGurk and Henry Klappert, they've been here both races, and so far you've put yourself on a little bit of a higher pedestal than them. So, congratulations on the win, and you're the points leader heading into Okayama. So, before I let you go, do you have anybody you want to thank tonight?
Well, I appreciate Jordan for the kick-ass pink pig livery. So that was the first win in that paint scheme on the car. So shout out to Jordan for making that for me on just an idea that I had, because the front of that BMW is not winning any beauty pageants anytime soon. But other than that, no, it's just good fun all around, and glad to be part of WORC.
All right, man. Congratulations on the win, Brian. We're glad to have you with us. We're glad you show up, and well, I guess we'll see you around. Congratulations, man.
Appreciate it. Y'all have a good one.
All right, guys. Thank you, Brian. That was our winner, Brian Zinn. We're gonna pull in Sky McGurk now. Sky, you're in the WORC TV booth. You got a copy, bud.
Yep, I got a copy.
Well, early on, man, you definitely seemed like you were the car to beat. You put the thing on pole. You were quick. What do you think? Do you think the night sky kind of made things a little bit different, because that seemed to be when Brian was able to get by you and push away?
Yeah, I'll say probably that a little bit, just the track condition a little bit, as well as it didn't help that whenever he caught up to me was whenever we caught up to lap traffic for the first time, and I had to make sure I didn't want to rear end the Lamborghini from me while I had him chasing after me behind me, so that didn't help. But yeah, I think the conditions, the tires felt like they fell off a little bit there at the end. If I had to say, I didn't think we were going to make him feel all the way to the end, and I started reel him in a little bit at the end there, but I think it's just conditions changing and lap traffic whenever he called to me played a key role in the race.
Yeah, well, I mean, still you come home P2 here today at Nurburgring, and you've kind of put yourself P2 in points altogether. It's only a 4-race season, so you got to be quick. You can't make many mistakes. You got to keep it close. What are you expecting heading into Okayama next week? Do you think maybe you'll have a chance to try to get back by Brian here and set yourself up for a championship run at Long Beach?
We'll see. I'll try and do what I can on that day. I haven't ran on that track before, which that was the same thing with Nurburgring as well, because I never ran this track either, and I had pace. So we'll see how it goes when we go to the next track next week. But yeah, hopefully I could try to go for the championship. Try and go for my first ever championship in iRacing in general and in league racing. So we'll see how it goes.
All right, man. Well, before I let you go, Sky, do you have anybody you want to thank tonight?
I'll thank my team, Fry Designs Racing, for even though I'm running just a Mercedes paint scheme, still I'm part of their team for overall and WORC. So I thank them. Yeah, that's probably about it.
All right, man. Well, congratulations on P2 tonight, Sky. We'll see you around. You're keeping yourself in a good points position here heading into the final stretch. We'll see you next week at Okayama.
All right, thank you.
All right, guys. That's Sky McGurk P2. And unfortunately here, we're going to get to the finishing results. Oh, wait. We can't get to finishing results. I forgot. ATVO kind of crashed. So, well, I can tell you Brian's in one. Sky McGurk got second. Gage Corn was third. Sean Giroux was fourth. Joe Fiora rounded out the top five. And then Henry Klappert, Chris Jones, Paul Granata round out the rest of the field. Thank you everyone for tuning in tonight here to Nurburgring. That was a pretty entertaining race between Brian Zinn and Sky McGurk for the most part. And we're glad to have those guys along board with us here as Zinn, McGurk, and Klappert take the top three in points at the moment. Other than that, catch us on Tuesday night. The McConaughey Setup Shop, your late model tour heads to Cedar Lake. That one should be a pretty entertaining race. Not 100% sure on the broadcast for that one. It might be slightly delayed. We'll see what happens there. Other than that, Thursday night, JP's on Truck Series heads to Talladega. That should be an entertaining one. We've been pulling about 30 trucks a week, and man, Talladega, it's going to be very exciting. It's going to be a lot of crashes, going to be a lot of big ones. And then Saturday night, we'll check into the Unified